Greetings, I'm Rodger Newbold, and a tip of the hat to you this morning. Welcome to episode 19 of Experienced Photography. My fellow photographer, partner, editor for this episode is Matt Rich. He's the man with a digital touch. He's the one that translates all of my palaver into good stuff. He's the one that you really see here online each and every episode. And I thank him for all of his hard work. And where are you hiding today?
Hi, Rodger.
There you are.
What's the subject for today?
In our most recent past vlog, we spoke of imaging using the Orton effect. Now, this effect generated an image with varying amounts of soft focus to add some spherical special atmosphere. We outlined a number of methods that you could use to pursue and to add a giant sense of variety to your work. We also showed some compelling images to add to your encouragement. We were really hoping that you would be able to get out and have some fun and produce some new subject matter. Today we're going to talk about more fun. Kind of a refreshing thing. Finding and creating reflections. Now, this may be something very easy as we approach the autumn and winter, rainy or snowy season, whatever it is in your area. If you reside in a geological area or a geographical area that still receives rain, this may be an absolute snap for you. But if you live where I live, and the internet says that the average for 2022 had only been 7 inches for this year, it's been pretty darn dry. Hopefully you'll find wetter solutions, and this will be a lot of fun for you. So search for different photo perspectives. In order to develop a good eye for reflection photography, you need to see scenes from a different perspective. And back in 17, we spoke of getting that camera into a more curious position. A couple of reasons for this concept. As soon as you make one non-traditional shift in your brain, it will begin to slip into creative overdrive. And one giant effort leads to another inspired burst. And then, off you go. Composition, or the arrangement of elements in a picture, must be formed in your mind before a vibrant picture can ever be produced. So, look, dabble about, amuse yourself until you're satisfied. Once you have that fresh point of view, the composition of the photo takes on absolutely new intensities. Take a look at figure number 1. This image is used with permission and shot by Ms. Kathy Gardner, a great friend of mine. She just returned from a cruise this summer and provided a reflective look in more ways than one. Her camera is capturing the upward glance of the person with binoculars on the second floor. So getting a double shot of glances going on there. Figure 1B is Tristan. We take advantage of a point, this time looking downwards, for different variety. Find a different way of seeing. This is my granddaughter, and just after she won the state championship in the breaststroke competition. It used to be that An average picture taker would avoid photographing with the reflections. Whenever they found, one in a photo scene, they just tried to find a way to shoot around it. Over time, including reflections in the photos started to be seen as a way of shooting abstract pictures and also a way of creating surprising effects that resulted in beautiful images. Look for the unexpected, the overlaps of light, color, or content as you're in motion and shooting. Speaking of searching for a different point of view, what about the contemplation of past events and as a reflection? Every different type of idea counts. Take a look at figure number 2. All right, number 2. This is my expression. I named it the kiss of an old goodbye. So start searching for other ways of seeing and understanding and most of all expressing yourself. Start by searching for puddles. And they're good, they're easy, and they reflect what's going on around you. When it rains, you go out and you search for a puddle in the park, or in the street, in your area, because they're the first type of reflective surface that are very interesting for shooting nice reflections. Just remember to be safe and not get run over. Rule number 1, don't die. Invest in a cheap reflector safety vest, under 20 bucks. At least they'll see you. If they're going to mow you, you're there what a target. Puddles are also great for developing an artistic eye for reflection photography. Other types of reflective surfaces like mirrors may be important too, but puddles are a good starting place because they force you and challenge you to be aware of your circumstances, to find an abstract perspective in what others see as an ordinary urban space. Take a look at figure number 3. This is a walk in the rain. Put on your muck boots and your trousers and don't mind getting wet with them, and use the water as an image reflector. You can lie on the ground or position your camera close to the ground in one of those, little $30 mini tripods. Get as close to the puddle as you can. Put the camera tilting upwards. Get a good angle. Capture something new and different, an image of the sky. Before shooting, check all of the elements of your photo. Remember to always observe with patience and pay attention to the details. Sometimes a simple element of nature reflected by a puddle can portray the idea of something, quite different from the reality that the element happens to be in. You will have a new scene, something new and different to take photos of. Search for the other types of reflective surfaces. The relationship of diverse elements in the world simply invite you to search for different perspectives. Observant photographers really need to be responsive to what is available in the space around them. Find a new reflective surface that may, aid in imaginative quest. In reflection photography, the reflected image is what transforms the photo scene from blah, ordinary to whoa, extraordinary. Take a peek at scene number 4. This scene got transformed from the light streaks from the blinds on my wall. And it went from just some light marks, brilliant highlights on the wall, and what did it become? intergalactic travel. Flash Gordon, eat your heart out. Add intrigue. There's more than one thing you can do, which is to photograph only the reflection of an object or a person without including the reflective surface in the photo. For example, if the reflective surface is a mirror, you don't need to include the mirror frame. Just zoom in on the object or the person, whatever's being reflected in that mirror, and photograph only that. You can also photograph your image attempting to escape from a crystal block. Help me, help me. To further build on a good idea, when the reflection is completely sharp and clear, well, then the reflection becomes a photograph. In this type of photo, the main element will be seen as an inverted form created from reality. In a gap, show that image. Take a look at 6. The reflective champagne bottles in the main element in this found image by Kathy Gardner. It pays to get out on those daily walks and have your camera with you. Can't do anything without it. Now, glass is always good for reflection, as in this table in figure number 6B. The tricky part is controlling where the highlights land and positioning the camera in the best place. Personally, I almost always have my camera with me at dinner. Sometimes it pays off. I really want you to pay attention to figure number 6C. This is Duck Creek by Matt. This reflection really displays the genuineness of the scene within a remarkably beautiful triangular collection of trees that added to the, colorful autumnal woodland. The triangular shape commands the viewer's attention and his consideration and is well executed to give you a perfect example. And now, Matt will run you a quick list of items that will work as inspirational reflective surfaces that you can press into use when creating beautiful photos of reflections. So, just take a look and make a list. Carry it within your bag to remind you. Mirrors, sunglasses, glass tables, glass windows, car windshields, car hoods, lakes, ponds, water fountains, swimming pools, raindrops on plant leaves and flowers, decorative objects, ornaments made of glass or metal. Now, there's always buildings and storefront made of architectural glass. You get some great stuff. Kind of Gary Winogrand, if you will. You can use any other reflective surface that you find at home or in a space that you occupy. So come on. Get out. Shoot. Get some new ideas. We want to see some. Look for the attractive colored lights. You must look at the world, differently to find amazing reflections. Beautiful reflections can exist anywhere, but you need to train your eyes to look for colored lights, to add for accent and for unique intimacy into your discoveries. You won't be able to move some reflective surfaces like a lake or a puddle or a window or even a building. It means you have to move around in order to find the right angle. So, a couple of ideas. Travel light, so you are free. You can do what must be done to get the shot. This is not an instance where you want a 30-pound backpack. And I certainly don't want to have to leave it unattended temporarily. Hey, take a look at figure 7. This image used with permission from Kathy Gardner. Any reflection you want to adjust your height so that you may have to get low to the ground. You may want to get more of the subject reflected. If there's a puddle on the street, crouch down. Get part of the street. Great thing is these newer camera bodies with movable and rotatable LCD rear screens are extremely helpful in these instances. More than just for selfies. You may appraise your subject matter and look at it and find a great composition without even having to get soiled. Figure 7B. I didn't have to get soiled, wet, or even bend down. I did have to use the adjoining building wall to keep things steady. I knew I should have had that tripod. Figure 7B is the barber pole. In Kathy's resourcefulness and in her manner, she gathered a batch of colored lights, like little colored Christmas lights, and reflected them off an aluminum baking pan for things to accomplish when you're stuck indoors. Photography doesn't end just because you can't go out and dance in the rain. Put yourself in the best position to find, the spirit of the place. It can require a lot of work, but line up the right angle on a building or a mountainside that reflects off a certain body of water, and you can save yourself time and hassle with a little pre-trip research. Many online or mobile phone apps can help you find sunrises, sunset times, along with direction of light, area maps, star maps, and certainly much, much more. Look for things like Google Earth or photo pills, photographers' ephemeris, Star Walk, and there are many more. Often a reflective surface can be, subject to midday glare, strong shadows, washed out of color. So pre-trip research will only get you so far. But scouting and exploratory visits and just being ready and conversations with locals can always be a big help. Remember shooting during the vaunted golden hours or the blue hour when the light is diffused all around. At sunset and sundown, sunrise, it's a great time of day to get good light without the glare and emphasis of reflections. Also use that trusty polarizer. It can be a big help. Even with pre-planning and direct interaction, you can't control the weather. But you can set yourself up for a lot of success with a good plan. Wind and anything else can upset a smooth surface of a lake or a pond. Sometimes we think it problematic, but winds are often calmer in the early morning or at dusk and during the heating of the day. So look for those shots. Try those times if you want to capture mirror images of mountains, trees, and more. So of course, always check the local weather report. Be prepared for rain, which may or may not be advantageous. If you visit the seaside, I got a good idea. Check the tide tables. Hardware considerations. As always, the question of what do you want to capture will guide the choice of how to catch that image. In studying how other photographers who shoot reflections and their work has led me to a major conclusion. Now, Lee Friedlander, one of the absolute best in this genre, expressed the fact that when the moment appears, there is not time enough for you to run a checklist. So, you should be technically proficient with whatever camera and lens you're carrying. I mean, believe me, take a look. Here's Lee Friedlander in a self-portrait that he did while suffering a heart attack. All right, Lee. Glad you're still with us. Talk about having incredible control. I think his work is absolutely amazing. If I'm still alive, I'm still shooting. So just hand me that camera. Let's get going. You know, before Lee had his difficulty and his heart attack, he experienced a great deal of pain in walking. Later on, received a knee transplant surgery. But during the bad time, he photographed from his car everywhere he went. I've got a couple of friends that do that. Yeah, Les, really. Lee's book is called America by Car. Taking Lee's example, I found when photographing concert for the newspaper, once the light goes dim, there are no second chances. So sit down right now. I mean, go get your camera as soon as this vlog's over and learn to run your hardware blindfolded before you're put on the spot. I know many photographers, self included, who have had a problem sticking with one camera for a very long time. Ooh, well, we see the model of a new camera come in and out, and we have the false impression that we would just be more incredible for just another $10,000. This is rarely the case. When I was constantly trying out, you know, different cameras, different formats, different focal lengths, my photographs never got any better. I was focused so much on the equipment and less on developing my own personal vision. And that's what this is all about. Sam Abel, in one of my classes I took with him, said essentially what photography is life lifted up. It's your vision on parade, so be ready. If you're going to take a picture of a reflective surface, you want to come away with a different kind of shot and a different composition. You can use a telephoto and a wide angle and get really diverse selection of photos. You can alter shutter speeds, you know, get an artistic effect. You can control depth of field with your f-stop and have even more adventurous variety in controlling that camera. However, let's think outside the box. You can disrupt the surface of a still puddle by throwing a rock in the water. Bing! Magic point of view. You can break up an image really quick. You know, toss a rock in your mirror. No, it will. Or try putting a leaf in the middle of a puddle. Play around, see what happens. And for you purists, nobody's going to care. They only want a great shot. Notably, don't hold back. Go for that artistic shot. I may think a shot may look awesome, and maybe somebody doesn't. Who cares? You might end up with something terrific that not even you expected. So don't give up too soon. One last word on hardware. Try to beg Borrow or rent a tilt-shift lens if one is available for your camera model. It's pure magic in a lens tube. How else can you take a picture into a reflective surface and not see the camera at all? Well, look this up for a bit of fun. Maybe it's nothing more than the way the light glides across the surface. Maybe in that instantaneous flash when you realize something truly remarkable is happening and it may be disappearing right in front of you. If you can immediately pass a camera before your eye, you'll shred a piece of time right out of the continuum. I guarantee you that this instantaneous spark in the liberating fragment, you will render a new image that is absolutely marvelous and full of meaning. Now, my friends, our time is up for today. Matt and I certainly hope that we have given you a quantity of new, powerful ideas to go try out. If this has been of value to you, give us that big old thumbs up. Subscribe to our channel. By all means, tell your friends and let them know that we offer experienced advice with which everyone can become a better photographer and simply have more fun. Please keep those comments coming in. We appreciate them all. I hope you found that this is the best vlog you watched this week. So a tip of my hat to you. Until we meet again on screen, cheerio, my friends.